happening. We are on the verge of a nuclear war, and nobody in the mainstream media in Canada is even talking about it. Just the other day, just Sunday, the Biden administration gave the approval to Ukraine to use long-range U.S. missiles, ATACMS, they're called, against Russian targets inside Russia. They've already used them. Russia has said it will not stand by and do nothing. It will consider this an attack not just by NATO, but by extension by the United States directly. And even if it just considered an attack by NATO, that would mean the United States, because an attack by one is an attack by all. An attack on one is an attack on all. And that includes Canada. So here I am sitting outside of Ottawa on November 20th, 2024, and I'm wondering if we're going to see nuclear missiles rain down on this capital. Because during the height of the Cold War, they built the Defen bunker for that very purpose, to put government people, the ministers, the deputy ministers, the high bureaucrats, and of course the prime minister, in a safe place while the bombs fell and everybody else was going to get fried. Well, that's precisely what's going to happen today. And Justin Trudeau hasn't addressed this issue. All he wants to say is we're with Ukraine to the end. Well, the end might come very shortly.
Continue to stay focused on getting the support to Ukraine that Ukraine needs to win this war and establish peace.
We could be looking at the end of the world if this continues. I can't emphasize this enough, but the mainstream media doesn't want to even address the issue.
Trudeau also said he was frustrated the G20 failed to use strong language to condemn Russian aggression.
No, it's not strong enough for me.
Now, here's Donald Trump actually addressing this issue. And you won't hear this from any politician in Canada. They don't want to insult Volodymyr Zelensky, the corrupt president of Ukraine. That's something they can't do. But listen to Donald Trump talking really clear terms about what's at stake right now.
We have never been closer to World War III than we are today under Joe Biden. A global conflict between nuclear-armed powers would mean death and destruction on a scale unmatched in human history. It would be nuclear Armageddon. Nothing is more important than avoiding that nightmare. We will avoid it, but we need new leadership. Every day this proxy battle in Ukraine continues, we risk global war. We must be absolutely clear that our objective is to immediately have a total cessation of hostilities. All shooting has to stop. This is the central issue. We need peace without delay. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad, while they turn us into a third world country and a third world dictatorship right here at home. The State Department, the defense bureaucracy, the intelligence services, and all of the rest need to be completely overhauled and reconstituted to fire the deep staters and put America first. We have to put America first. Finally, we have to finish the process we began under my administration of fundamentally reevaluating NATO's purpose and NATO's mission. Our foreign policy establishment keeps trying to pull the world into conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia based on the lie that Russia represents our greatest threat.
And what do you think the Trudeau government and the official opposition are talking about right now at the National Security Committee? How Russia is trying to destroy Canadian democracy through disinformation and misinformation. That is what they're talking about. Nobody is talking about the potential for a nuclear catastrophe. Thank God Donald Trump recognizes The obvious.
But the greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's probably, more than anything else, ourselves and some of the horrible USA-hating people that represent us. It's the abolition of our national borders. It's the failure to police our own cities. It's the destruction of the rule of law from within. It's the collapse of the nuclear family and fertility rates like nobody can believe is happening. It's the Marxists who would have us become a godless nation worship.
It's incredible. It's hard to believe a president-elect would talk like this. But he's putting his finger on exactly what every average voter can identify. And the best is yet to come here in terms of what he says people are worshiping.
At the altar of race and gender and environment.
Race, gender, and environment. That's what they're worshiping at the altar of. And what have we been talking about today? We're obsessed with race in this country. We're obsessed with gender in this country, all of Trudeau's hallmarks. And Trudeau, instead of talking about the danger of a nuclear war, is talking again about the need to fight climate change. Not to fight nuclear war, to fight climate change. Climate change won't mean shit if this world is blown up in a nuclear confrontation. You can argue that it doesn't mean anything at all at the moment, but it's come irrelevant if we have a nuclear war. And even somebody as incredibly vacuous as Justin Trudeau should be able to see that basic truth.
And it's the globalist class that has made us totally dependent on China and other foreign countries that basically hate us.
Wow. What can you say? I never thought I'd hear an American president, of course, he's the president-elect, speak so clearly and unambiguously about the problems that confront us, Scott.
Yeah, and that I drew that segment from Judge Napolitano's show yesterday with Scott Ritter, and I can't say it better. I can't believe I'm hearing that from a president-elect. But God, somebody has to say it, because we are so close to a nuclear war in Eastern Europe or in the Middle East. And why in the hell is the Biden administration continuing to foment conflict at this stage when they've just been repudiated by U.S. voters? It's not even a lame duck presidency anymore. It's a dead presidency. And yet they continue to try to provoke World War III as their last and final act as they go to the political grave. This is astounding. We have to fight this. I don't know what the answer is in terms of getting the politicians to listen to us. Maybe you've got some suggestions. But nobody in Canada is talking about this. Nobody. In the political sphere, anyway. Yeah, I'm talking about it. You're hearing it on Redacted. But I'm not seeing a lot, even from YouTubers out there, who are talking about the fact we are literally days away from a nuclear war if things are left as they are. Now, Russia might just say, hey, Donald Trump is 2 months away. In fact, today marks the 2-month countdown. In 2 months, Donald Trump will be the president of the United States, January 20th, 2025. So maybe the Russians will say, hey, there will be some common sense in the White House in 2 months. We're not going to start the nuclear war. All we can do is hope and pray that's the case. Because believe me, in the end, we need to give peace a chance. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, folks. Don't listen to Justin Trudeau. We need this kind of attitude in Canada right now, because let me tell you, Justin Trudeau will fight tooth and nail to stay as leader of the Liberal Party and as Prime Minister of Canada, and he will use every trick in the Liberal handbook to do that. So we have to be vigilant, and we have to be have to have perseverance to fight this battle to the end. As I've been saying since this station went on the air, we need to resolve to resist. And we need to fight for our free speech and our democratic rights to say what we believe, to speak, as John Diefenbaker said. And don't forget that t-shirt that's available out there in the store. I speak as a free Canadian, free to speak, free to believe in what I choose. And Justin Trudeau is not going to interfere with that. Thanks for being a part of the Craydens Right Resistance, and we'll see you again soon.
So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need a political change, but we also need to resolve to resist